Remember that night? The rejection hung in the air like a shroud. It still stings, doesn't it? You told yourself you were fine, strong, unmoved, but deep down a cold dread settled in, a primal fear of vulnerability. We chase inner peace, don't we? But what if that peace is just emotional numbness? What if the quiet you crave is actually the silence of a fractured self, a cracked mirror reflecting a stranger back at you? Jung called it the shadow, the unfelt, the buried emotions that run our lives from the dark. This isn't about stoicism, it's about confronting the very things we've meticulously avoided. The alchemy of feeling, transforming the lead of pain into the gold of self-understanding. Are you ready to meet your wounded self, to face your shadow? Then let's begin. So, remember that job interview in Chicago, the one where they practically laughed you out of the room. The sting, it's still there, isn't it? A phantom limb of failure. You convinced yourself it didn't matter, you were better off anyway. But the quiet afterward, that gnawing emptiness that wasn't peace, was it? It was the cold, hard silence of a dam holding back a flood. A dam built brick by painful brick to keep out the vulnerability that terrified you. That's what the pursuit of inner peace often masks, a desperate flight from the raw, unfiltered pain of being human. We're told to find our center, to be still, to be strong. But sometimes that strength is merely a rigid shell protecting a wounded child. A child who in that sterile interview room felt completely exposed, completely unseen. And the price of that self-protection, it's numbness. A slow, creeping paralysis of the spirit. It's a cracked mirror reflecting back a stranger, someone stiff, someone guarded, someone profoundly disconnected from the wellspring of their own life force. That's the shadow, isn't it? That's the part of ourselves we refuse to see, the unfelt, the unexpressed, the brutally honest truth we keep locked away. We build walls around our hearts, but those walls also keep out the life-giving current of authentic connection, of genuine self-acceptance. That's the paradox. The seemingly unshakable peace we crave is the same thing slowly suffocating us. It's not about conquering the shadow, it's about integrating it. About learning to navigate the treacherous terrain of our own emotional landscape. We may have learned over the years to appear invulnerable, but the truth is, this carefully constructed armor hides a desperate need for healing. This is about accepting that wounds are part of being alive, part of being fully human, and discovering what the pain really wants to tell you. That numbness, it wasn't peace. It was a wall meticulously constructed brick by agonizing brick to keep the world and your own pain at bay. Remember Arthur, that old architect from San Francisco, 68 years old, a man who seemed carved from granite, unflappable. He built empires, designed breathtaking structures, yet inside a hollow ache. He spoke of his zen, his inner calm, but it was a mask, wasn't it? A performance. He meticulously avoided confronting his childhood trauma, burying it deep under layers of professional success, a carefully cultivated illusion of strength. That's the shadow Jung talked about, the unacknowledged, the repressed, the hidden parts of ourselves that dictate our lives from the unconscious. It's not about some mystical realm, it's about the feelings we refuse to feel, the pain we won't name, won't address, and how we try to manage it with overwork, addiction, avoidance. Anything to escape the relentless ache of the wounded self. It's the missing piece in the puzzle of our lives, the unspoken truth that fuels our relentless pursuit of inner peace, a term that masks a deeper, darker longing to escape the very messiness of being human. He called it the shadow self, the dark, chaotic, emotional side we'd rather not see. He said the shadow is always there, reflected in our relationships, our choices, our very inability to feel. A cracked mirror reflecting a stranger back at us, not a reflection of peace but a reflection of fear, the fear of vulnerability, of truly feeling, and the price of that avoidance, a lifetime spent chasing a phantom peace, a hollow shell of a life. That cracked mirror reflecting a stranger back at you, it's not just about the pain, is it? It's about the avoidance of the pain, the relentless, almost desperate flight from feeling, and that flight, that's where the myth of the Stoic ideal takes root. We're told to be strong, to be unflappable, to be pillars of emotional granite. But what happens when that granite becomes a prison? When the strength we admire is actually a hardened shell, protecting a wounded, terrified child within? Think of Marcus, that retired Marine in Boston. 72 years old, a man whose face seemed etched with the stoicism of a Roman statue. He'd lost his wife 10 years ago, a crushing blow, you'd imagine. But his grief, it wasn't raw, it wasn't messy. It was contained, neatly packaged and tucked away. He'd built a fortress around his heart, brick by stoic brick, and within those walls his pain festered, a silent scream buried alive. Jung would call this the shadow self, the collection of rejected, repressed emotions that we keep locked away, hidden from the light of consciousness. And honestly, it's easier to hide, isn't it? It's not about simply ignoring your emotions, it's far more insidious. It's about creating a distorted self-image, a performance of strength that hides the deep-seated vulnerability at its core. That performance, that stoic facade, becomes a cage. The irony is brutal. In trying to avoid pain, you amplify it. In seeking peace, you create a vacuum, a soul-crushing emptiness. The Stoic ideal doesn't conquer suffering, it enshrines it. It's a gilded cage, all shiny on the outside but hollow and desolate on the inside. This isn't weakness. It's a strategy of self-preservation, a deeply ingrained survival mechanism. But it's a flawed one. A self-constructed prison built not from external forces but from our own fearful hands. Think about that for a moment. The very construct of the self, carefully assembled to protect us from the world, is actually trapping us in our own emotional wasteland. The pursuit of inner peace, when driven by fear, is a desperate attempt to avoid this wasteland. But true peace isn't the absence of pain, it's the integration of it, the slow, deliberate alchemy of transforming raw, unprocessed emotion into something more refined, something potent, something wise. And that, my friend, is a journey far more arduous, but infinitely more rewarding than simply building higher walls around your heart. That relentless pursuit of calm, it wasn't a quest for inner peace. It was a desperate attempt to silence the screams of a wounded self. Think of it like this: a volcano simmering beneath a deceptively placid surface. The pressure builds, the earth trembles, but you keep piling more and more rocks on top, trying to suppress the inevitable eruption. But what if, instead of suppressing the volcano, you channeled its energy? What if you could use the heat of those buried emotions to forge something new, something stronger? Jung spoke of the shadow self, the hidden reservoir of unacknowledged emotions, instincts, and experiences. We repress these parts, often believing this is strength. But it's not strength, it's a dam holding back the floodwaters of our true nature. The problem wasn't that I was suppressing my feelings. It was that I didn't even realize I was doing it, that the very act of trying to suppress my feelings was preventing my growth. Think of Arthur Miller's Willy Lawman, driven by a desperate need for approval and acceptance, unable to face his own failings, ultimately consumed by the very anxieties he worked so hard to ignore. That quiet, hollow space you seek isn't peace, it's the absence of feeling. A numbness, a void, a mirror reflecting a life unlived. The true alchemy lies not in avoiding the fire, but in mastering it, in learning to transform the lead of pain into the gold of self-understanding. There's a terrifying beauty in the raw power of unexpressed emotion, a force that can either destroy you or elevate you to unimaginable heights. It's a choice. That fire, it's not something to be extinguished, it's something to be understood, to be channeled, to be embraced. Because the truth is, you're not broken, you were never broken, you were simply untaught the language of your own soul, untaught how to navigate the complexities of your own emotional landscape. You were given a map designed to lead you away from the very things that could make you whole. A map designed by a culture that prizes numbness above feeling, control above surrender. And honestly, I fell for it too. We've all been there, haven't we? Building walls, perfecting the mask, running away from the whispers of our shadow selves. But there's a profound freedom in dismantling those walls, brick by painful brick. A freedom that comes not from obliterating the pain, but from integrating it, from seeing the face of your wounded child and extending him compassion. Not pity, compassion. A deep, unwavering understanding of his pain, his fear, his yearning for connection. Because that yearning, that's the key. It's the compass pointing you towards the truth of your own inherent worthiness, your inherent capacity for love, for joy, for connection. The truth that you are not defined by your failures, by your rejections, by the moments where you felt completely and utterly unseen. You are defined by your capacity to rise, to heal, to transform the lead of your pain into the gold of self-understanding. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, an odyssey into the deepest recesses of your soul. And it's going to hurt sometimes, it's going to be excruciatingly painful. But the other side of that pain is not emptiness, it's not silence. It's a depth of being, a wellspring of strength you never knew existed. You have a choice. You can continue down this well-worn path, the path of avoidance, of numbness, of self-deception, or you can choose differently. You can choose to embrace the wounded parts of yourself, to understand them, to heal them, to integrate them, to transform the lead of the initial sting into the unrelenting power of your own self-acceptance, the quiet strength born from confronting the shadow. That is true inner peace.